Hello, Gareth here. I thought I'd make a video because I have got here Kevin's Bulldog, fresh from racing a couple of weeks ago from Formula One. Still his blue sticker on the rear wing. But yeah, car was really struggling and sounding like a bag of old bolts. So I thought I've been working on my cars, and I thought, yeah, I'll show you what I've done and hopefully help you guys unlock a bit more pace as well, provided my cars do go quick. So they certainly sound smooth. So yeah, let's switch to view and I'll show you what I've done. Right, so we have the two cars here. So this is Kevin's car, and when we put it on this power supply set up for 12 volts, doesn't sound quite as bad as it did on the night. It was sounding like an absolute bag of old bolts. But you can definitely hear a bit of gear noise there. Now this is my one. I hope it does sound different. That sounds faster. You can hear the change in RPM. Oops. So Kevin's is pulling like 2.5 amps of resistance, 0.25 amps of resistance, and mine is pulling 0.2, so 0.05 of an amp less resistance. And obviously the less resistance you have, the faster the car is going to go. By comparison, this is a Viper that I've just rebuilt today, and that's pulling 0.15. It did get down to 0.12 earlier, so it's definitely got a little more to unlock in that. So there is method in my madness. This stuff does work. So first of all then, what we're going to do, this is no ordinary glass of water. This is Halford's deionized water, which you can get. It's not expensive at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the front end off, and we don't need the rear axle for this. And all we're going to do is go to the left. Sorry, I didn't keep it in shot. I've just taken the axles off basically, and the body. I'm going to shove it here. So changing the voltage down to 6 volts, and that is now going to sit in there for 10 minutes. And you always see actually a bit of gunk coming off the brushes, but this works really well with the Viper, by the way, because you can run the Viper in and then you can strip it down again and clean the armature and the brushes once you finish the running in process. So with this Viper, it was pulling like 0.3 amps of resistance compared to the car that won. Which round was it? April this year. That one is pulling like 0.1 ohm of resistance. This one's getting down to that, but it still needs a bit more running in. But this is the armature that I pulled out of the car today, and it just looked a bit grubby and rubbish. So I thought I'll get it out and put a fresh one in, but I actually damaged the bell housing, and as I was putting it back in, the copper part bent up. Fortunately I had some more in stock, so I was able to put a fresh one in. Anyway, I'll bring you back when the 10 minutes is up. Right, that's been a bit over 10 minutes, so get some kitchen towel, plonk the car on. So the next thing obviously is we need to dry the car off, and I think the easiest way to do it is to strip it down a bit. So hoik off the motor retainer, like so. Take the motor out, slide the mags out. Just pop the copper in this little pot. So yeah. Just got a bent shoe here. Straighten that up. Come on. Spring out first. Great. So I'm just going to move everything else out of the way. So being follically challenged these days, I don't obviously need a hairdryer. However, I have borrowed Emily's super powerful one. So let's try the chassis. It's done. And now the more important thing to dry, obviously, is the motor. There's going to be water inside. So you need to blast it all out. It's much easier with the Viper and the Super G because you can take it right apart. You could take this motor apart actually. It's not super difficult. If you do want to take the motor apart, you just need to lever this plastic end bell up. And then just like with the Super G, you can use... Sorry, really hard to see what I'm doing. So as I say, if you do want to take these motors apart, you just need to lever up the plastic end bell. Use a little tool like this just to twist the brushes apart and then you can remove them. That is looking nice and dry now. Just pop power for it just to make sure, because quite often you get a bit of flick of liquid coming out that's been lurking in there. So let's do that. Yep, nice. Okay, and the other thing I'm going to do, sorry if I keep going out of shot, not a professional. I've run out of my pin oiler, but I'm just using this pure bike oil, which does say it lubricates and protects, which is a good idea now it's come out of the water. So just going to dab a tiny drop onto this bushing. There we go. And one at this front end. A little too much, so we'll just wipe away the excess. That we can then just oil the sides of the can to keep it nice and clean and protected. There. So, motor's done. These are the magnets. Fortunately still in their retainer, because I don't know about you guys, but I find these SRT mags a right pain in the bum to keep in place. So we've got our bus hangers. Drop those back in the chassis. Like so, there we go. Then we need to put the magnets back in, and then it goes in like that. And you can tell which way around they go because there's a little tab, so the indentation goes to the back on the magnet retainer. It goes in like that, and then on the motor, you're looking for a little red splodge, which is just here, and that's going to be your positive side, so that goes onto the left because it's left rail positive on HO scale. And then all we do is make sure everything's aligned, push the motor in, and then it's good practice just to reach down, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but in between the hanger and the motor, obviously you've got the motors, the motor tabs, and these are not really making good contact at the moment. So the best thing to do is to get some kind of pointy tool, or you can do it with a strong enough knife blade. Don't recommend it with this little guy. Then you force that down in there, and that brings the motor tabs forward and just provides a really good connection between your hanger and the motor. Okay, so that's now done. Let's pop the lid on the oil. Now Kevin's got the original shoes on here, which are the stepped shoes. Not as good as they're not as good as obviously a ski shoe, so I'm just going to whip these off of this chassis, which is one of my own, my Super Gs, but you can use the same shoes obviously. Just, here we go. Lose the doing Kevin's springs, because his springs look a bit nicer than the ones coming out of the Super G, so there. Yeah, and you can see the crash damage to this pickup shoe. It's really buckled. Could straighten it, but better just to put these nice pickups on. And there we go. But we'll just give it a quick clean up with the old fiberglass pencil. Good idea to clean in here as well, this where it goes on the hanger, because that can get quite grubby and cause you a problem. There we go. Likewise, just giving this one a clean up. Plenty of meat left on these, so although it's a second-hand shoe, it's still going to be an improvement on the ones that just come off the car. Just use the pointy tool just to flatten the hanger onto the back of the shoe, just holds it in place a bit better. Reduce the chances of it pinging off in a crash. Do the same on this side. Just holding the shoe down with my thumb and just bending that like that. Good contact there. There. Okay. Good. Now the only thing to put back in is this, which is the motor retainer, obviously. But before we do that, because one thing I want to check, so if I pop the axle back in, go back up to 12 volts. Okay. And let's see what kind of pulling power we're getting now. A little slower, it's coming in though. Here we go, there we go. It's a little down at the moment, 2.7, but once we've run that in, that will be absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do next is, this is a teacup. Again, you can get that from Halfords. You can use toothpaste for this as well. So you want a coarse toothpaste, like a Arm & Hammer would be really good. It's quite a gritty toothpaste. So I'm coating all the gears up. And then I'm going to turn it down to 6 volts. And then I'm just going to run it for about 5 minutes, and then I'll reload. I'll show you what happens in a minute. So I'll see you in 5. Okay, 5 minutes later, and just going to reapply more of the there we go. Yeah, it's going to bung a load more teacup over the gears. Be warned, this is quite messy. Whichever material you want to, medium you want to use. You can get polishing compounds as well, but I mean, if you've already got teacup or toothpaste, you might as well just use it. You can still feel a bit of a notch, so that's done, and let's fire it up, and hopefully not splodge everywhere this time. Ah, everywhere. Damn. Right, I'm going to leave this to dangle for another 5 minutes while I clean Emily's hairdryer. She'll never know. Cool, that's about done. Let's check out how it feels. Pretty good. Still a bit of notching. Just there. I'll have a little look at that in a minute. But yeah, next thing to do is just to give it all a good clean up. You can just use water, cotton buds. Easier to do when it's still fresh, by the way, the teacup, because if you try and clean it after it's been on there for a day, it goes hard, and then you need a lot of water. And then with this, you just need to pop all this out and give it a clean up, which I'll do in a sec. I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, so chassis all cleaned up again, and no evidence of the teacup. Right, that should be all good in the hood now. So what we're going to do is pop the rear axle back in. That way. It's a tiny bit of sticking still on one tooth, but it's not a lot more I can do with it. I mean, it should improve with running, hopefully. So let's pop the front axle back in. Cool. And I've just been using this on mine. Tiny bit of multi-purpose grease into the gear mesh. The white lithium grease probably be better. don't have any at the moment, so grease that gear chain and pop the motor retainer back in, just like so. By the way, I mean, you can see that's only had like 2 motors through it, and it's looking pretty manky. So that's all the brush material coming off. Right, power supply is set to 12 volts again. Turn it on and see what we're getting. Left. .18. So it's come down from 0.25, now we're at 0.17. 0.6. Oh, this is getting quicker. Right, I'm going to leave this running for half an hour or so, and let's see what we get out of it. Still ringing like a bell. Actually, I think it's just the drivetrain, isn't it? Or just maybe that magnet moving around. It's my left. Get myself confused. Right, let's hook this up and keep it running. I just need to clean up a bit of that grease which is splurged out. Right, we'll leave this running for a bit and I'll come back and tell you what the results are. And there we go, all completed. So on the end of the running in just then, the 12 volts, we were pulling 0.015 amps, which is very close to Viper levels of low resistance. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty pleased with that. And Kevin, you've got no excuses now. I fully expect to see this car in the B and the A final. So, or even winning. So yeah, good luck with that. Hope you found this useful. Cheers.